Peggy Littleton, Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you. I'd like to have some of our folks, Jim, come on down. Some of our folks from our Emergency Operations Center, come on down. We want to honor you this morning. Gosh, this is my honor for, I think, the 8th year to present the proclamation recognizing National Preparedness Month in El Paso County. Whereas National Emergency Preparedness Month is a collaborative outreach effort to inform and encourage all Americans to prepare for all types of potential emergencies and disasters, both natural and man-made, both large and small. And whereas investing in emergency preparedness for ourselves, our families, businesses, and communities can reduce injuries, fatalities, and economic loss. And whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency READY campaign, the Citizen Corps, and many other federal, state, county, private, and volunteer agencies, including El Paso County Office of Emergency Management, encourage individuals, businesses, and neighborhoods to prepare for emergencies and to make preparedness plans. And whereas citizens in El Paso County have seen firsthand the value of being prepared for disaster and having an emergency survival kit, the need for family evacuation and reunification plans, and the value of life-saving information as we continue to rebuild and recover from catastrophic fires, hailstorms, floods. And whereas successful planning, response, and long-term recovery requires the commitment of El Paso County, other local governments, the state of Colorado, federal, nonprofit, and community resources, working collectively and collaboratively. And whereas hundreds of El Paso County citizens have completed the Community Emergency Response Team training, or CERT training, to be prepared to act as auxiliary responders in emergencies and disasters, and more are needed. And whereas Preparedness Month is an extension of a year-round community emergency preparation that includes programs like Citizen Emergency Response Training and Ready and Resilient Neighborhoods program, they can also learn valuable personal preparedness skills and information at ready.gov, listo.gov, and the emergency preparedness page at elpasoco.com. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, hereby joins other local, national, state, and regional agencies and organizations in proclaiming September 2018 as Preparedness Month and encourages all citizens, business, and organizations to develop their own emergency preparedness plans and to work together to ensure that our community is well prepared and resilient. Done this 6th day of September 2018 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, Darrell Glenn, President, Mark Waller, President Pro Tem, Stan Vanderwerf, Longinos Gonzalez Jr., and Peggy Littleton, members, as tested to by Chuck Borman, our County Clerk and Recorder.
Second.
Very good.
All right. We'd love to have you guys give us a little bit of information this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Behind me, I want to introduce the team. The only time you see the team is when stuff's not right? When things are going bad. And that's the only time you see these folks. But what are they doing the rest of the time, right? I mean, they're preparing. I'm not going to give the briefing today. I'm going to have someone who actually does the work give the briefing today, because I think that's important. We need to recognize those folks. But I want to recognize Lonnie Inzer, Ted Sayer, Bart Evans, Sarah Fant, Richard Haverlow, John Cole, and Robin Adair. That's your team. Mm-hmm. And your team is constantly working to make sure that our citizens are prepared and that you're prepared for any event that has happened. And I think this year we've had several events that have proven that the work that they've done is correct, accurate, and works. So my hat's off to them. We can't do it without them. I would say most citizens probably don't know who they are, probably don't know where they work, but they do know who to call when they have an issue. So at this point, I'm going to let Robin Adair come up and give the briefing to you, and then we'll answer any questions you have afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for proclaiming National Emergency Preparedness Month here in El Paso County. The theme nationally this year is disasters happen, and we've proven that here in El Paso County time and time again. It's important that we be prepared for disaster and large-scale emergencies all year round, but in September we focus on getting that message out to the public. So just real briefly, some of the things we've been up to since last we spoke, last Emergency Preparedness Month. We've been offering community emergency preparedness classes and other preparedness education for the community, and in the last 12 months we've had 206 people participate and graduate through that training. Of those folks that have gone through the training, we have 53 active members on a county CERT team now, and our efforts with the community is expanding, and the participation of the public is expanding as we offer these trainings and these opportunities. We have 90 people enrolled in CERT classes for the next 8 weeks, and we have 69 people on the waiting list this week, so we're going to be offering more classes and more training. I think people are becoming keenly aware that they need to get a little bit of training to have the knowledge and the skills that they need to be prepared for anything at any time. And our Teen CERT program is continuing. Our high school teen program starts up again next week for the school year. So very proud of the fact that we're getting lots of training out to the public, and that the public is anxious to participate in it. That's very helpful. One emphasis that expanded this year was our wildland fire workshops, and I wanted to mention that. We did outreach to the communities, and again, because of so much participation and so much demand, we offered additional trainings, not just to tell people about wildland fire mitigation, but actually to train homeowners groups in wildland fire planning, and to train our volunteers to go out and help those homeowners groups put their wildfire plans together for evacuation, for mitigation, for preventing their risk. So those are just tiny highlights of a lot of work that we've been doing in the last month to expand emergency preparedness in the public. And that's the public stuff. And internally at the Office of Emergency Management, I'm going to turn it over to Lonnie to talk about our planning and cooperative efforts we've been doing across the county.
I really want to recognize Robin for all the work she has done with the CERT team and the community outreach. Tremendous effort, special events. Her group is at every special event in this county, whether it's in Fountain, Monument, Calhan, Green Mountain Falls. They're all over the county. And great effort, Robin. Thank you. Preparation is also planning, and we've been doing extensive planning the last 3 years, especially in the Office of Emergency Management. Some of the completed plans recently are evacuation, evacuee accountability, alert and warning, mass care, continuity of operations, and hazardous materials planning. Great effort that those are in place, and what it took to get to those plans to be in place are collaboration and cooperation with all our partners. In progress, we're working on the JIC, Public Information Plan for the communications, and mass casualty plan. Collaboration is what we do. That's what emergency management is. How do we work with our partners? And it's important that we do work with our partners. We have some upcoming exercises. On the 27th of September, we have the Rampart Dam tabletop, and the coordinating group with that is Colorado Springs Utilities. But we're working with Colorado Springs OEM. We're going to be deploying to their facility as if there was a dam breach, and our facility on Mark Dabbling was inundated. And the reason we're deploying to their facility rather than our secondary facility out at Acres is because we want to be able to coordinate evacuations within the county and city together. And that's why we're going there. It also is a test for our ability to redeploy the Emergency Coordination Center. Cedar Heights this weekend, on Saturday, we're doing a Cedar Heights evacuation with Colorado Springs in the city of Manitou. And we're going to be deploying out at the Manitou Springs High School. So again, working with all our partners is what we do. 911 outreach, we're assisting El Paso Teller 911 with registration of citizens into the system, and we're going to be doing that this weekend and at every event we go to. And then the local emergency planning committee, our hazardous materials team, are the coordinators for that, for this county. John and Rich and Scott are very involved in that program. They are I think they're the directors of it at this time. It's voted on by the members of the community, and this is mostly private industry that gets involved in the local emergency planning committee. So I'll turn it back to Robin here.
With just a quick public message that if you don't do anything else this month, it's a simple process. The first thing you need to do is register your cell phones with 911. That's really important in El Paso County, and we can't say that often enough because so few people in the county have registered their phones with the 911 system. If you want to get notifications of an emergency or an evacuation in your area on your cell phone, your text, your emails, you need to get registered because the cell phones aren't necessarily in the system. So we want to emphasize that that's the first step and the most important step people can start with. If you don't know what's going on, you can't react to it. And then there's just a 3-step process. You need to learn about what your local risks are, Make a plan for what you're going to do about those local risks, including how you're going to communicate, and get your emergency supplies packed and ready now, because you don't wait for the emergency to happen. The Office of Emergency Management is happy to help groups and individuals do that. They can get on epcoem.com, and you just go to the El Paso County website and put it in the search bar. That's easier than remembering. And or call me, and we'll set trainings, information, education, materials. We'll help you find out how to be better prepared. That's just the important message for this month, and that's why we set it aside to recognize Preparedness Month. Thanks for your attention.
So I won't mention any names, but those of you who are challenged with using the internet on your phone, Commissioner Gonzalez, we'll be more than glad to talk to you afterward to help you get that fixed. Or I think Commissioner Littleton can slide over there and show you how that's done. So again, I just want to thank the team for everything that they do. I think they're silent partners, and people really don't see what they do unless you attend a lot of these events and you see the folks there. So again, I'm just really appreciative and grateful that we have such a good team here today. Any questions that we can answer?
Any questions, comments? Commissioner Vanderwood.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the team as well, and I made note of this and sent it to the leadership of the county, but in the last PPACG meeting, we had 4 public agencies publicly state in that meeting, 4 elected officials from 4 different municipalities, publicly thank the emergency management for El Paso County, and in one case it was about fixing roads. That was RAMA. That was in the meeting, but the other 3 were Fountain, Manitou Springs, and Green Mountain Falls, elected officials from those 3. It is obvious to me that the elected officials recognize the value that you deliver to our community and to our county, because we were able to see, I was able to see 4 accolades, 4 thank yous in a single PPACG meeting, and I thought that was fantastic. And that, of course, was, I think, immediately after the flooding in Manitou Springs. It was around about that time, just a little bit after that. Also, when we had the flooding in Manitou Springs, the recent one here, all of the work in the creek, or well, not all of it, but most of it held really, really well. So we've made a big investment there, and it did a pretty reasonable job. But I also called the mayor of Manitou Springs when that was ongoing, Ken Giray, just to see if everything was okay. And in that telephone call, I discovered, and he's a new mayor, he had not been signed into our our emergency announcement system. So I think I either called or emailed Jim, and I just want to thank you guys, because it was literally 15 minutes or something like maybe 20, and you had him on the list. And Ken has personally thanked me for that. And that's because of the work that you've done. So you guys are doing great work. I'm proud of that. And keep going. Keep working at it. Keep making it better. Because no matter how good we are, there's always things to make our processes better. So just keep at it. And I appreciate all that you're doing. Thanks.
Absolutely. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too just wanted to thank the group, emergency management, getting the publicity out there that people need to be prepared. As we've seen this year, we've had too many disasters, and District 4 is very thankful for all the work you guys have done, and all our regional partners as well, because they're part of this group as well. And we've seen the great work you've done. A couple of us have seen the work right up front, having to go to the offices to see how the fires particularly were moving through in the south side and different areas of the county. And then last year I did get to observe the joint disaster exercise at the airport. And so just to see the professionalism of the team and how well you guys work together is outstanding. So thank you for all you do, and let's continue to publicize this so that the people understand they need to be ready too when these things happen. And as we saw this year and have seen, they need to be prepared.
Absolutely. Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you. Well, as a couple of commissioners who've been here through every fire and flood and hailstorm, I have to say that I'm so proud of our team here in El Paso County, and what I've seen, the increase I've seen in the last 8 years of our ability to be leaders in communicating, robust communication systems and strategies, leaders in planning preparation, leaders in saying, we can help you, but really it's about personal preparedness. And we don't want to miss the opportunity, because people do watch this, when they're trying to get to sleep at night, if they have insomnia. It's about personal preparedness. It's about somebody going through their home and already having, things identified, that list ready, that if they had 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get out of their house, what would they take? Where is that list? Is it on the back of a closet door right by the front door so that anybody could go and identify those items? Do other people know where that is? Do people have a thumb drive with all of their pertinent, valuable information on it so that they have birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, and have everything available and ready with them at all times, and also have it maybe off-site somewhere so that if things happen to be destroyed, they'll never forget during the fires, some of the people had perfectly intact cars sitting in front of their house in Waldo Canyon. Well, one was destroyed in the garage, the other one was on the street and was untouched, but they had no car keys for the second car. And certainly those things can be overcome. But just thinking through things as a family, thinking through things personally on how you can be prepared. While we can do a lot to help equip and train people, we can't do everything for them. So thank you guys for what you do. I really appreciate it. You guys have done a great job in coordinating and cooperating with all of our different entities and municipalities and military bases within the community. You do a great job of keeping us informed on what's going on within our community. I'll never forget, just a while back during one of the hailstorms, I happened to be at ironically, a crisis communications conference out in Washington, D.C. And they said, did you know that your county's like on the news? You're getting like hail that's about baseball size? And I said, how about that? I said, as a matter of fact, I do. Look at my phone. I just got all the notifications. So thank you guys for what you do. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it enough. People don't understand really the planning and preparation that goes behind making sure that we have evacuation routes set up, that we have all the information for people that we might need to get in contact with quickly, easily, and efficiently, whether that be hospitals or other municipalities or Red Cross centers or locations for people to evacuate to. It takes a lot of planning and preparation, and I commend you guys for what you've done.
Commissioner Waller.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate all you do as well. But I think sometimes it's easy for us to just sit up here and say thanks for all you do and give our appreciations that way. But here's where the rubber meets the road, and here's what our responsibility is. It's to make sure that we give you the tools you need in order to be successful. That's really what it comes down to. It's about providing you the resources you need, the dollars that you need in order to be successful. And I just want to give a pitch and say I'm thankful that the citizens of El Paso County stepped up in 2017 and said, look, we get it. We understand that emergency preparedness is incredibly important to this community, and we're going to vote to provide dollars to emergency preparedness. And I can't imagine where we would be right now without those dollars that the citizens of El Paso County stepped up and gave to not only emergency preparedness, but to transportation, of which I'm sure some of the transportation dollars are being used to fix some of those issues down in District 4, in particular, the Old Pueblo Road issue that's there. I know that down in District 4 in particular, we've had a significant number of emergencies this year that have really tapped into and utilized those funds, whether it's this plethora of hailstorms that we've had that have caused a significant amount of destruction, or the one in particular I'm thinking about that Commissioner Gonzalez and I went down and participated in is the big fire that happened down there. In fact, I think we had a couple of fires down there this year. So, I think it's important for us to say thanks. And I'm excited to be a part of that and to be able to do that. But I think really for us, where the rubber meets the road is, are we giving you the resources we need? And that's probably the absolute best way we can say thank you to you, is making sure that you have what you need in order to keep the citizens of El Paso County safe. I think we've done that to a degree. We can probably do it better. But thank you for being a good steward of the things that we've given you that way. And thanks for all that you've done to keep El Paso County safe, and in particular this year, Commissioner District 4 and all the issues down there.
Well said. Anything else before we vote on this?
Real quick, we talk about fires and floods and hailstorms and that. What I have to bring up, I'd be remiss not to bring up the hazmat team. Our hazmat team is out there 24/7, 365. And what you don't see is the calls at 2 o'clock in the morning for a gas leak or a fuel spill, or an unidentified thing, or CDOT has dropped a radioactive bar on the highway because it fell off as they were doing their PQI test. Those are the things that you don't see. We have 3 folks assigned to that. One of them is serving our country in Afghanistan at this point. He'll be back. But I have to say that you don't see them, and you don't hear a lot about them. Why? Because they're doing their job. That's why you don't hear it. And so I think that's important too. I certainly want to recognize our firefighters and our law enforcement and all the things that we respond to, but the folks behind the scenes, and they're also liaisons. They do show up on scene, and they're our voice back and forth to OEM. So let's, I would be remiss not to recognize Hazmat for the great efforts that they do. So thank you.
Very good. Okay, with that, I will call the roll. Commissioner Littleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Waller.
Aye.
President votes aye. That passes unanimously. We'll stand in recess and take a picture.
All right, thank you.